Right. Okay. So we're still kind of fairly... Well, we're not finding any books, essentially, is what I'm trying to say there. God, these things are rare. Maybe I should have upped the amount of points that you get per book that you find. Right, well, tell you what, I'm going to ditch the alarm clock as well. Don't need that either. God, look how much frigging revolver ammo I got. I don't need this much. Oh, you don't need this much here, Mr. Frodo. What the hell? Good lord. Right, check the back doors as usual, as you always do with these kind of challenges where you're going to be investigating lots of buildings. Lots of buildings, ladies and gentlemen. Building, incidentally, it's just occurred to me now, was a character in the original Lego Island. That's a game which I have not played since I was a child. It's a game which, to be honest, you probably cannot buy anywhere anymore, except from, you know, a minority of sellers on eBay, probably. And it probably costs you a lot of money, and it's probably on a disc. You know, it's probably on hard disk copy, which, to be honest, probably won't work on a lot of modern computers. You probably need to get yourself an emulator to be able to, you know, in order to be able to run it. God, I remember Lego Island, though. I remember it very well. Because Lego used to do all kinds of video games. They used to do some ones which were actually kind of memorable. Because the thing is, you know, Lego Island itself, I think, was probably not one of the more sort of memorable ones. But, you know, there was Lego Island 2 as well, which some people really enjoyed. I remember Phil actually had Lego Island 2. I had Lego Island 1 as a kid, and he had the sequel. I don't really remember. I mean, I didn't really play Lego Island 2 myself, except when I was ever around at Phil's house as a kid. But even then, that was just on a few remote occasions, so I don't really remember too much of what was in it. Sorry, just supping tea to get that down my throat. Ooh. Okay, we've got troublemakers over here who need killing. I just heard them talk. Okay, but yeah, so there was Lego Island, those games. The Lego games that I actually played more of when I was a kid was Lego... Fucking Jesus. Bloody robots distracting me from my commentary. I am leading here, so I'm going to need to be careful. Fucking get down. And you. Oi, come over here. You're not getting away, matey. You're going to die. There we go. You're down. Good lord. Jesus. We've still got a bandage. We'll replace that with one there. Good. What was I saying? Oh god, we've got more people we need to kill. This guy over here needs taken out. Oi. Got him. There's another one charging in over there. There's two of them, in fact, so let's just back up a bit. Alright, check these bodies. Unload shotgun ammo and take that. I just heard them talk. Fuck me, I'm going to need to kill them. So many troublemakers need to die. There we go, he's down. Right, back off. I don't think we heard any of them talk. Oh, watch out, that is a pheasant that's taken flight. Got this. Oh, who? Where? Oh, there you are. Oh, good lord. I backed into some more of them. Got him. What an asshole. Oh, there's a little shed over here that I've missed completely before. Oh, there's more. Oh, god damn it, I heard more voices! Where are they? I don't see them. I'm going to need to kill them, though. Oh, there's one. I saw him. He's got his back turned. Got him. Right, but there's more of them. Aha, see you. Where are you going? You going around there? There you are. Oh. Got him. God, there's even more of them coming. God, there's so many fucking hunters all of a sudden. What the hell? Oi, I'm over here. Got him. Good God. I mean, that really interrupted the flow of my conversation that I was just having with all you viewers for a moment then. Where was I? I was talking about Lego games. That's what I was talking about. So I talked about Lego Island and Lego Island 2, and I'm pretty sure I just heard another robot speak very faintly, and I do not see where they were. I think they're over here. Because I can hear them blipping. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm hearing them now, so we're going to kill them anyway. Oi. Hello, matey. Oh, there's a lot of you. Oi. Got him. Oof. Bastards. My neck. Right, he's down. And that one. Oh, it's too much shooting, this is. Oh! Careful, there's only 2 of them. Oh, wow, that guy took him out for me. Got him. There we are. Like his body went flying through the air. Right, is that everyone? Is that all of you? Are you done? There's enough fucking troublemakers to have to deal with, that is. Flipping heck. Once again, I'm filling my inventory with shit. That's got 0 rounds. Alright, no more looting. Leave those bodies, just let them disappear. Let them despawn. Sorry, just supping my tea down. Right, we'll come back up to this set of villages that we actually explored earlier. So maybe it's worth going off to another island, I think. Why not go to Lego? No. I was about to say, why not go to Lego Island? That would have been a utterly abysmal joke. But yeah, I was talking about Lego games. That's the thing, not played a Lego game in fucking yonks since I was a kid. And I mentioned obviously Lego Island, and I mentioned another one that I played a lot when I was a kid. I don't think I ever completed this one, but I did play a lot of it, and that was Lego Rock Raiders. So Rock Raiders, of course, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, was a 1990s Lego theme. I think it was it classed as part of the kind of Lego space overarching theme, or was it its own kind of distinct kind of theme? It may have been its own kind of distinct theme, but the basic kind of storyline behind it, whatever you want to call that, the lore, was that the Rock Raiders were a bunch of characters. They was crashed on another planet, something like that, and they had to go mining for energy crystals to power their ship, something like that. That was the storyline behind Rock Raiders, whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, I think there is actually a more, I don't know, a more up-to-date version of the Rock Raiders theme called the Power Miners, which Lego, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were certainly doing it in recent years. But yeah, but Rock Raiders, you know, they had various sets. Like what made the Rock Raiders theme quite interesting was the vehicle sets. So they had things like the Chrome Crusher, the Granite Grinder, things like that. And of course, I'm sure that Power Miners has its own kind of versions of those. But obviously, I don't really know anything much in that regard. So yeah, that was Rock Raiders, and they did get a video game which basically followed the storyline, and the levels were always kind of similar in terms of they all followed the same objective, in that basically you have to set up a base, get loads of Rock Raiders teleported down, and then pretty much go out and explore, drill down walls, find new caverns, and collect as many energy crystals as possible, because usually each level would have a set amount of energy crystals that you have to find. So the earlier levels, for example, it might only be 5 or 10, which is fairly easy, because on some levels they're pretty common. But then later on, you know, the amount of energy crystals you have to find, it goes up, so it might be 45, 50, however many. I always remember as a kid, I got quite far along in terms of the levels. I think I got to the second to last level, but I never completed the game. At least that's what I recall. I never actually finished it. But I think, you know, part of the problem with Rock Raiders is because it was a sort of late 90s, early 2000s game, you know, the AI was not particularly brilliant. And of course, because all the levels essentially have the same objective, the gameplay gets very repetitive very quickly. And because the AI is kind of basic as well, just going back to that for a moment, you can't sort of directly... well, actually, no, maybe you could. But the problem was that Rock Raiders were kind of... the way their AI worked, you had to sort of set priority for their tasks. And of course, as a kid, not really understanding the mechanics of it, I, you know, sometimes struggle with the levels a bit. But, you know, they did introduce various mechanics in it to try and make some of the levels a bit more challenging, to introduce some more interesting forms of gameplay. So, of course, you know, the big antagonists of the Rock Raiders are the rock monsters that live on the planet. So I recall, obviously, certainly in the later levels, you have to watch out for the rock monsters. And in some of the levels, they actually had oxygen meters. So it's like certain caverns and things only have limited oxygen supply. So, at least in the early stages of a level, you have to hurry along and build up your base and get the requisite structure that you need in order to set up a permanent oxygen supply. So there were glimmers of interesting ideas in the game. And, you know, for a kid it was kind of fun, especially once you start getting the vehicles, things like that. But it's just obviously, like I say, very repetitive gameplay, which is perhaps its one major failing. But, yeah, I mean, overall, not too bad a game. But actually, a Lego game which I do remember, which I played a lot of, and I remember it being very fun, was the original Lego Racers. Now, obviously, again, Lego Racers is a game which has a sequel, Lego Racers 2. Which incidentally Phil actually had as well. So, whereas I played Lego Island 1, he played Lego Island 2, whereas I played Lego Racers 1, he played Lego Racers 2. But Lego Racers 1 was I don't know, it wasn't anything special, I'd say, but it was really fun for what it was. So, of course, it was car racing, and the beauty of it was that you build your own vehicle and all that out of Lego bricks, and of course, the more races you complete, the more sort of themes and sets you unlock. So, that was pretty fun. It was pretty good. And the storyline, I think, in both Lego Racers games is that you have Rocket Racer, the champion of the universe, who sets up a kind of tournament to see if he can find someone who's capable of beating him. And you just go through, he invites basically racing champions from all epochs across time and space to compete against him. And so I remember, I don't remember too much of how it worked in Lego Racers 2, because obviously it was, it had Lego Racers 2, because I think that came out in the early 2000s. That very much took a lot of its inspiration for its racetracks from Lego themes and sets of that day, like the Adventurous themes, which were going through their kind of Dino Island phase and all that, as well as others. But of course, Lego Racers 1, it had circuits, and each circuit didn't really have a particular theme, but within each circuit you had about 4 racetracks to complete, and each racetrack followed a distinct theme. So there were like adventurous themed racetracks, themed after like the ancient adventures in not in ancient Egypt, in Egypt set, adventures in Amazon, pirates, space themes, things like that, which was pretty good. Looking back on it, I do just really remember that I really enjoyed Lego Racers 1 overall as a game. It just had plenty of good things going for it, essentially. Come to think of it, I don't know, have I talked about Lego Racers before here on the channel in one of my episodes? I probably have, because now that I think about it, it seems to be stirring up a few memories. I feel like maybe I've talked about it before, so I'm probably recycling an old conversation topic and all that. I don't know, I'm not sure. People probably in the comments can let me know. But then again, that depends on whether people remember. I'm not sure. Right, we're still not finding any books on this here island, which is really concerning. Am I going to get any points by the end of this challenge? Because we're at the 30-minute mark right now. We're halfway through and I still haven't got any points. What's going on here? Literally no books. No literature at all. It's kind of insane, this, isn't it? Whereabouts are we on this island? We're over here. There's a lot of pathways, but not a lot of villages on this one, I don't think. Unless they're kind of blending into the colours of the map and I'm just not seeing them. Okay, well, we'll tell you what. Try going to another island, I think. We'll try that. At this rate, our library is going to be very, very empty. We're not going to have any books to lend out. But we certainly have dealt with a lot of troublemakers, though. Got to start drinking up my tea, it's getting a bit lukewarm and all that. Whew, right. Continuing on then. By this stage, actually, depending on how I cut the footage here, this will probably be the 3rd episode now of the challenge. I've said it before, I'll say it again, that's the beauty of these time challenges. They give me plenty of content to keep me going for a good couple of weeks, at least, on the channel, before I need to record any more, sir. Sorry, I'm drinking up my tea a bit, because it is getting quite lukewarm. By the time this challenge ends, I'll have to start thinking about what I'm actually going to have for my tea, for my evening meal, ladies and gents. Because it is getting, it is past 5 o'clock in the evening right now. This is a nice little recording session that I set up for myself this evening after work. Because the thing is, at work at the moment, we've got a lot of essays coming in to mark, things like that. Also, what was I about to say? I've just been marking a load of exam scripts as well. But actually, that's an interesting topic of conversation to talk about, exams, things like that. Because, here's the thing, right? If there is one pet peeve that I and probably many have, and indeed not just in this country but right around the world. It is not not just so much when you have, for example, poorly worded arguments in, exam answers, things like that. It's when you come across exam papers where the handwriting is a bit, well, not just a bit, but is difficult to read. That is the eternal pet peeve of every examiner around the world. Because that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to write an exam answer, please, for the love of God, I know you're under time pressure and all that usually in an exam to just get as much as you can down on the paper, but really, I can't stress enough. Please, please, please do try and make sure that your handwriting is at least semi-legible, because with this with this latest batch of exam scripts that I've been marking as part of my job. Basically, let's just say there were a couple in there which the handwriting on them was kind of difficult to read at times. The problem is, especially if you're writing a social sciences paper where it's all about the quality of your argument, I can't mark your argument if I can't even tell what it is you're trying to say. So yes, word of advice out there for everyone. But more generic advice, of course, if you're facing a written exam sometime soon, usual advice is, in advance of it, know what sort of time, well, how much time you're basically going to have in that exam to write your answer, and then split your time accordingly. Piece of advice I always give is always dedicate a little bit of time at the start of the exam, not to writing it, not to writing your answer, but just to making a few notes, and just splitting your time up so you can do a bit of planning and all that. Because that's the thing, right? Let's say you're doing a 1-hour exam and all that. Best thing to do there is to split your time, so maybe 10 or 15 minutes at the start, just to plan your answer, and then spend the remaining time, 45, 50 minutes, however long, just actually writing out the answer itself. Because that's the thing, right? If you just, some people can, do the old thing of they can just start writing the answer. It just forms in their head, and they can start writing it, and it, naturally comes out onto the page. But not everyone can do that. And, especially in social sciences where we're marking the quality of your answer overall. And part of that obviously comes down to making sure that your answer has a smooth, fairly flowing, logical structure. Obviously, if you just sort of splurge a load of ideas on the page, that might not come across very well. So that's why planning is so important, ladies and gents. So make sure you take a bit of time just to do that. Trust me, it will work wonders for your exam answer. Yes, but of course, structure is not the only thing that we as academics look for in any sort of written assessment, whether it's in a written exam or a written piece of coursework, whatever it may be, or a verbal briefing, whatever it is. We also look for a strong argument. So if you're going to make an assertion in any sort of assessment, make sure you provide some kind of evidence, something to back it up, something to back up your claim. This is sort of advice which I've probably given before. I know for a fact that I've done episodes, podcast-style Sir episodes, where I've talked about things like academic essay writing conventions. So I won't kind of go over those again. Yeah, so let me know in the comments, if you've got any exams on the horizon. What subject areas are you studying in? Things like that might be worth knowing, just for the sake of having an interesting conversation and all that. Okay, so we're coming up to the 37-minute mark in the challenge, and we still have not found any books. I am really starting to think that I should have changed the spawn rates for the scarecrows. That would have probably helped quite a lot for this, because otherwise I am just going to be flailing around. That is going to be problematic, isn't it? Well, these guys are kind of in the way, and we're probably going to hear them talk, so we might as well take them out. Yeah, I heard them talk. Am I still using my... Yeah, I'm still using my axe. I should use my shotgun for a bit. Let's do that. We've got we've got 22 rounds for this bad boy. Yeah, you need to go down, matey. Come on then. Gotcha. Oh, no you don't. delaying his... It's funny there, he fired 2 shots, but he didn't take the time to reload. Kind of weird. That's strange. What a very peculiar guy. I don't know, yes. Right, well at least we cleared them out, because that now means we can explore this village without fear of library troublemakers causing too much of a ruckus. Still no books just yet. Good lord. Is this going to be the first challenge where I come away with 0 points? Because that'll be embarrassing if it is. Maybe I'll have to, you know, if I go away here with no points, I'll have to keep a note of this challenge and maybe come back and do it again sometime. And this time, perhaps, you know, next time around, try it out with increased scarecrow spawn rate, something like that. I might as well mark this area, which we've been to. I'm just going to put a marker down so I know I've been here. Oh, wait a minute. No. Are we... I know we are on South Island. Sorry, I got momentarily confused because I was looking towards the left of the map there, and I saw 2 large buildings, sort of right next to each other, which confused me because, of course, that's the same sort of shape as my chosen library, which kind of confused me for a moment there. That was very, very peculiar. I don't know what the deal is with that even. Right, let's just drink the stout, and actually we'll deposit that bottle to free up a bit of inventory space. Because we don't need stealth gear, really. Do I even really need the fucking matchsticks? Because what am I going to do with them? This isn't a survival kind of oriented challenge. This is a very combat heavy one.
Owen, we're doing so well.
What was that?
That's posh. That wasn't American at all.
Try to get...
Owen, we're doing so well, aren't we? Whatever, worry what, I'm having fun. Yeah, mate, he's just mad because he has to sit there while we all get wet.
No,
Right then, next customer edition. Oh, for God's sake!
so he's
He's trying to be German.
So, because it's difficult being American translator.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Megan? Well, how is it to be going? My auto is very dirty. Would you clean it nice for me? Yeah. I'm trying to mix German and American sound.
Yeah, we'll just do a very sort of fake German accent.
Well, how is it to be going? Mine auto is very dirty. Would you clean it nice for me? Yeah.